Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the internet's most hated Mafia-themed Geek podcast. The Long Coat Mafia podcast is I, the Reverend Godfather, the show's main host and frontman. And this upcoming weekend, that's right, Saturday, October 19th, we will be at Baltimore Comic Con getting content for you in all forms, photos, video, hopefully audio as well, with interviews from various people. So, in preparation and to ramp up to that day, October 19th, and I hope to see some of you at that event. While at KingCon, that's KingCon, we recorded a special kind of a ramp up episode with none other than Matt Burns. So it was me, our faithful co-host, Big Candy, and Matt Burns, all talking about bootlegs and, conventions and other conventional-related stuff, and in regards to ramping up to this event. Plus, there's going to be an old school. Before I get into that, the recording with me, Big Candy, and Matt Burns has been kind of adjusted a little bit because the environment we were in. So it's kind of been, instead of it being in your ear a lot, in regards to volume, it's been kind of, the noise has been reduced a little bit, so it's better on the ears. So I just wanted to let you guys and gals know that. And after that, you'll hear a classic Electric Eye episode dating back to 2008. Maybe September, late August, early September, or sometime around there, in regards to Baltimore Comic Con that year. And that is the episode you're going to hear is a part 2 of a 2-part Baltimore Comic Con 2008 series that we did back then. Part 1 was me and Mad-Eye Markey when he visited the show during that time. But the next day, or I should say, when Big Candy returned, he recorded part 2. So I believe I put up part 1 many years ago. So please check our back catalog in regards to that. And thanks to YouTube not liking our old Electric Eye intro, I kind of had to do a creative editing in regards to the Electric Eye intro. So you're going to hear that, and plus between our kind of a ramp-up discussion with Matt Burns and the old school Electric Eye episode, you're going to hear once again, the person who provided us a lot of stuff for our intros, our outros, the late, great George Spike Reel, giving us We'll Be Right Back. And after that, I'll see all of you at the tail end of the show. So I'm going to step back right now and give you all our discussion with Matt Burns. Hey folks, we're trying something a little bit different outside the norm this week.
Butt stuff.
Butt stuff. I'm leaving now.
Oh, come on. We almost got him.
Almost. We are recording this ramp-up episode to Baltimore Comic Con at KingCon, and with me today to talk about gearing up for a convention is Big Candy.
What's up?
And a person to provide a unique insight to conventions, Matt Burns.
That's a high compliment.
Why not? Why not? And as always, I am the Reverend Godfather, your all's main host and frontman for the show. And to kind of gear up, one of the main things that you and I kind of know, and this is one aspect that Matt could probably bring an insight, is that you and I recently saw a video from Zach in regards to bootlegs.
Yeah.
In regards to kind of fill Matt in, is that Now, I must say this.
Stirred the pot a little bit with that one.
I kind of stir the pot. I kind of disagree.
I love me some good controversy. Don't
Now,
get me wrong.
the aspect, I think, all in all, Zach might be slightly. I see the point of where he's coming from in regards to cancel culture.
I get it.
But I think overall, his point might be a little bit wrong.
Right.
Again, to fill Matt in, is that his video, he talks about someone who did a drawing rendition of the Deadpool 2 poster. And
But they were official from the studio, right?
She got permission.
Yeah. Okay.
Not overall exclusive permission, but they pretty much told her okay to do the poster. Now, a little while later, while wandering around the show like some vendors do, as you probably know,
Oh, of course.
she saw somebody brought to her attention a cell phone case with that drawing on it.
Like her
pretty much
artwork.
her artwork on that cell phone case.
Oh, wow.
Where I think where Zach might be wrong a little bit is that in the process of getting authorization for her poster, she might have had to submit one of the designs for that poster that she did to the studio,
Right.
which they approved, and probably during the aspect of the cell phone company, the case company, saying, hey, do you have anything that we could put on a cell phone case? And they just gave them a bunch of stuff.
Well, because what it is like those people, they get it from a supplier. The supplier prints those. Because cell phone cases, you can print those easily. I
Right.
mean, it's just a...
Oh yeah, I mean just like art prints. You see that stuff all the time.
It's a
These guys have
sticker.
these bootleg Rob Liefeld prints or like
Right.
Mark McKenna prints or
And the thing
Jim Lee
is,
prints or whatever.
They may or may not have permission from those people because a lot of times they are in fact bootlegs. Especially like when somebody does them, like it's like people that make pins and patches and all that kind of stuff. They seldom actually get authorization, whether that was an official case or not.
Right.
I don't know, and that's where it's up in the air. But I think the whole point of what he was saying was bootlegging, in a sense, is commonplace at cons.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there's guys that bootleg. I mean, we have these people at horror cons, which is what I've been doing a lot more of lately. I haven't really been doing the 4-stage show anymore. Now I'm kind of doing the horror thing with like Carolina Fear Fest, Creature Feature Weekend. This show, KingCon,
Right.
and and it's just. I mean, yeah, you do see. I mean, at KingCon we didn't really see. I mean, we only had about
Right.
we only had a handful of vendors or whatever. But at these horror conventions, you'll see people, that have DVDs of movies that are out of print.
Right.
That they've clearly run off their computer printer
Yeah.
and burned on a DVD in their house.
And her whole point was she saw her artwork on this case, and she got livid. So she wanted it pulled. She wanted the vendor thrown out and not allowed back.
Now, that part
Right.
I don't entirely agree
And
with. The
that's-
vendor sometimes just doesn't know. They
Right.
either got
Yeah.
it from a supplier or whatever. They thought it was legit. I mean,
Right.
now having them pull the case, absolutely. I mean, since it was her own artwork, absolutely. I am fully compliant of that or whatever. I mean, just like at a show, if somebody was selling bootleg Mark McKenna prints and Mark McKenna was there,
Right.
Mark's my buddy, so that's why I'm name dropping him, obviously. But I mean,
sure.
because he's a good guy. But obviously we would at least have the prints pulled, and if we found another bootleggers, obviously the guy would be thrown out.
so-
Because clearly,
Now-
where the gray area was, and what and I don't mean to interrupt you, but where the gray area was like, say, I got in a discussion with Rusty Gilligan about this.
Oh yeah. Rusty has been a victim of this. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm sure he's told me about this.
I asked him, I said, so at the same time, there's characters from Marvel, DC, Image, that people will ask you, hey, can you draw Batman? Can you draw Superman? Can you draw Spider-Man?
or Wolverine, or whatever, Deadpool, whatever.
All things that he does not own the rights to.
Right.
But he's still making those. So, the thing, I posed a question online, how does all this
Now, see,
is it...
copyright is a funny thing. I mean, as you guys are well aware
Right.
of. I mean, copyright's you can play a song up to a certain amount of seconds and not get sued for it.
Right.
You can, as long as you put your own spin on artwork. Like, say for instance, you draw like Howard the Duck wearing a Deadpool outfit. That's you. That's not a copyright infringement at all. Now, if you draw that and somebody gives you and then somebody else makes prints of it or something, then
Right.
that's wrong.
Right.
Because again, you're not giving ample, you're not giving ample, respect and dignity to the person.
Right.
I mean,
Well, so that's, I guess that'd be my question. Like, that's where the gray area is. You draw Batman. It's a great drawing. You make prints of the Batman
with the artist's permission.
Well, but I'm saying you draw it. You're the one drawing.
Oh, if you're the one drawing it, then as long as it has, from what I understand, as long as you change like 3 things about it, it's okay.
Oh, okay.
That's always been my understanding. That's how it is in like movies and music and stuff like that. As long as you only sample a certain amount of music or whatever, it's I was just saying.
So it's an unwritten thing.
It is. It's a big gray area.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not stepping on Matt's toes or anything like this. From my understanding, okay, I will. The fact of the matter is,
you love stepping on the toes.
Oh yes. There have been 3 things that I've. One point and one other thing is in regards to when you see at shows like some independent artists and all that that might do Batman and Superman and all that. They are. From what I heard in the past, this is long before I knew you, Matt, is that places like Marvel and DC know that some of these independent people do characters of
well, of course they do. I mean, guys like Dan Noakes. I mean, guys that we know personally or whatever.
Right. They know that these folks are making these character things. Like there was one year in Baltimore, we got characters of like. Bruce Campbell and so forth and so on.
Oh, but
I'm like cards? Little cards, and they do characters or they do their independent
Dan
stuff.
does those, Rusty does those.
But Marvel and DC kind of know them, but the reason why they don't really go after them is because a lot of times the profit is too small, and these artists or these people in the artist alley, they're not making hundreds of thousands of dollars, or they're not making $50,000 or plus a year on this stuff, so they're not really going after those artists.
Well, see, at the same time, I'm playing devil's advocate here when I say this. Are they supposed to defend the copyrights no matter what? Like it's like, okay, let's just take for instance sports. If I was to go and like make Orioles bootleg merchandise and sell it at a show, my ass is in trouble 100% if somebody finds out.
Yeah, if somebody from the Orioles would catch you.
I think it's...
But the thing is, though, that's another gray area because you see people, like, selling unlicensed merchandise of the Orioles outside the stadium.
Well, you're right.
Again, there's gray area there, too. There's gray area everywhere.
I think there's, especially nowadays, with a lot of... There's so many conventions out nowadays. Similar to Forest State and all that.
I mean, even just this weekend alone, there's KingCon, there's New Jersey Horror Con.
There's so many independent conventions that are wonderful for the local people to get to, but because of that, it's kind of hard for Marvel and DC and so forth, maybe, to get to these smaller ones to send that cease and desist.
Well, it's like the whole San Diego Comic Con thing where they trademarked Comic Con, but everybody still uses it.
Right.
I mean, now maybe it's taken a long time for this to. Thank you, sir.
For instance.
But it's very tricky. And like you said, and if they're not making buku money on this, nobody's really gonna say anything.
Right. And I think from like the artist standpoint, from like Rusty Gilligan or Ken Hunt or Billy Tucci, again, the people, DC and Marvel know, hey, I hired Billy, I hired him, so there's going to be people asking them to draw a Superman or draw a Batman.
They hired, Dave Newbold to do the Runaways. They hired these guys.
So there's going to be somebody out there that wants that particular artist to do that particular sketch. So they're not going to, like, all right, well, we know it's a copyright issue, but it's something that the fan is able to get personally from these folks.
Like if I asked Dave Newbold to do a custom Runaways sketch or whatever, that's and as long as he doesn't put his own spin on it or whatever, it's all good.
Now,
there's no harm in having that guy and paying that guy $20 to give you your own.
Now here's where your input can come in too, Matt, because in recent years, I know a couple of years ago, there have been reports from artists ranging from like top tier artists all the way down to the little guy of people not just stealing artwork, but there have been people reported that, hey, this person selling custom prints, saying that, oh, I was a ghost artist on this particular project with, let's say, Ken Hunt. I'm not dissing Ken at all.
No.
I'm just using it as an example.
I mean, yeah, that's more gray area. I mean,
it's not so much that what they've been doing, from what I heard and trying to remember, is that they'll take a like a light box, trace something that Ken has done, then try to pass off that artwork as their own.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's wrong.
Harsh.
That's wrong.
That's really
wrong,
really bad.
I do not.
And it'll be like we've seen. I think the three of us have seen Ken's portfolio that he sells at cons. It's just sketches like Wonder Woman, like a full 11 by 17 sketch,
like
Wonder Woman or Harley Quinn,
or Batman,
and it's something that is something like that. From what I gather, is stolen, and they might change a little bit, but the bulk of it is like the style of Ken Hunt, and they're like, oh, and Ken Hunt will walk around like, wait a minute, you stole that, that's not mine, and
and he would have every right to have all that pulled, and then like the vendor reprimanded in some way, but
right, either reprimanded or if they found more stuff, just have the guy kicked out of it.
Right.
It's kind of hard.
That's not cool. I mean, especially when you're talking little guys. I mean, it's not.
It's almost like somebody needs to write like the unwritten rules and stuff down, because a lot of it's like it's such
a gray area.
Yeah,
now, I mean, like no offense, like these movies and whatnot. Like movies and TV shows, like these guys are actors and they try to get on at conventions to sell like merchandise, like Kent Wagner, Jeremy Ambler. And The Walking Dead is a prime example, because The Walking Dead, I mean, there's so many people on that show.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, and just like there, and like House of Cards and Game of Thrones, all these people, and they try to say that I'm this guy way in the corner, soldier number 237, and who's going to argue that? I mean,
it's kind of hard for someone like yourself, Matt,
gray area.
To vent someone like that, saying, "Hey, I'm zombie number 615." In episode, season 2.
They're in makeup.
Right.
They're not credited.
Yeah.
Like, how do you tell?
How do you know?
And you get some fans that just eat it up, and
absolutely, eat it up with a spoon. Especially when The Walking Dead was big, like 5 years ago, like when The Walking Dead was in its prime or whatever. I mean, I was joking with Jeremy Ambler, who was at that show, and they all did really well.
Yeah.
It was the first 4-state Comic Con, and that was when The Walking Dead was the big thing. And I told him, we were joking. We're like, dude, we could have booked the caterer and he'd have made a $400 daily guarantee. I mean, that was the joke.
It's true.
Yeah, the caterer could have made $400 that weekend.
Because didn't they have
just telling you what Norman Reedus' favorite lunch is or whatever.
Didn't they have a lot of trouble with Walker Stalker?
Yeah, well, apparently a lot of them they weren't paying people.
Right.
From folks at home, you heard on this show in regards to that, one of the issues is that Walker Stalker, wasn't the fact that they weren't paying, is that the folks behind everything is that they were, because he's here, Dale, he's charging $40 for an autograph. What Walker Stalker was doing is, we'll sell you a ticket for Dale for $60 or $80, and people were buying that. Yet in reality, Dale selling his autographs for $40.
Yeah, no, they were the ones that started all that crap. These high started these high guarantees and these.
No, it wasn't that. It's just that's what Walker Stalker was doing. And when someone like Dale was finding out, it's like, wait a minute, my fee's $40.
Yeah, why are you charging
60 or 80? Yeah. And that's where part of it was. And the other update that I got, which was one of the other episodes, is that what they were doing is. Nothing against you, again, Matt. What they were doing is like, all right, the date for Walker Stalker is July, let's say, 21st. Then maybe a week or so before July 21st will come. Oh, it's getting pushed back to September or August.
There are some shows that do that.
They kept doing that, and people were booking hotels for it and
losing money,
hundreds of dollars for hotels and everything else, and days off. And
it's like, well, I already took off work and I can't take off again, whatever.
And
just a regular
that's why
job,
the Better Business Bureau was getting involved, saying,
and apparently, these guests now are suing Walker Stalker for those fees that they're charging.
For sure,
it's like why are you charging? It's like you're charging $60. Where's my time? Well, why are you pocketing $20 for my autograph?
Yeah,
right.
Like, that's BS.
Just going to go back on a previous topic. you said you had, in regards to artist theft.
Yeah.
You said you have a couple of insights on that too as
Oh,
well.
yeah. I mean, I've been, without getting into specifics, I've actually been ripped off a few times, actually.
It's a very common tale, unfortunately.
Somebody you know actually ripped me off.
Is it who I think it is who ripped off a lot of other people?
I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something tells me it probably is the same guy. But
Certain sideshow.
Oh, that guy. Oh, never mind. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But
I don't know him anymore. But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But another thing I wanted to kind of bring up, which was brought up, granted, I don't agree with a lot of their views. I didn't really follow the article, but I think it's an important point to bring up that I think you have a vested interest in, Big Candy, is that the importance of artist alleys.
Oh my God.
And in regards to
Like that should Artist
Well, I
Alley.
mean, for comics, it's,
Yeah.
what else is there?
Yeah,
I mean,
right. I mean, you got your main dealer rooms, like where you got all your guys selling crap. You got your people doing all the
Your Funko Pops, your
Yeah, all
action
that crap.
figures. Yeah.
But then you got Artist Alley, which is just straight up upcoming, awesome, independent artists that are never going to get looked at.
Which is weird because there's certain other Comic Cons, that are, like around here and whatnot, that don't really focus on that, and you think they would.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I want to say this. It was one of those things that I saw on Facebook. It was it made a very important point, and it was the aspect of, it's kind of the thing that I keep bringing up on the show. It's like, if you stop, even Zach on Comics Matter, it's like, you got to create your own. Stop forcing X, Y, and Z in the mainstream stuff. Make your own.
Yeah.
And the comic on Facebook was someone, in essence, saying the same thing we are saying, and repeat, like, hey, you got to support, do your own stuff. Put diversity in the independent stuff. And they're wandering around Artist Alley with the people that are actually doing that, but they're not supporting those people.
Right.
And
Yeah. No, you're right.
it should be supported.
Oh, 100%.
And-
And the thing is, you're going to go down there, and, all your guys that are down there, I mean, everything from, just prints to, getting actual, work done while you're there, it's cheap. It's cheaper than, getting it done by the pros, and these guys are, a lot of times, just as good.
some of them better.
Yeah, some of them have been down there in Artist Alley
For a decade.
for longer than the guys have been doing sitting on the professional side.
As someone that's on, in essence, this side of things, I want to say that in regards to Artist Alley, there are some people in Artist Alley that think that they are like the big boys. Literally, they think that they are a Billy Chushi, a Ken Hunt, or some of the
Jim Lee.
Jim Lee, and that it's like, you want to see their page. It's like, hey, they're selling their page art. I want to buy that page. I want $650 for that. You're a nobody, in essence, a nobody in Artist Alley. You're not going to get $650 for that.
Yeah,
you might be popular in Artist Alley, but you're not a Jim Lee. You're not a Billy Tucci. You're not a
Larry Hama.
You're not a Ken Hunt.
Yeah,
you're not
McKenna or Ron Wilson.
Yeah,
And it's the thing is, the hard truth about it is with artists, it's hard to say stuff like that because you think your work is worth something, and you did a lot of work to get on it. You're expressing your skill, but there's a market, just like with anything else. There's a market, and people are only going to pay as much as they're going to pay. They're only going to pay what they think it's worth.
And folks, I'm attaching our review of Baltimore 2006 in on this. And you'll hear us talk about, at least I think in that episode, me talking about a gentleman that I was very interested in his comic and getting a page art from him. But he kindly refused because he wanted to keep it part of his portfolio.
DeAndre?
I'm not sure. I think it was the comic, if I remember correctly, was called Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, Diary of a Bounty Hunter.
So,
DeAndre Truesdale.
So
that guy was awesome.
But the other thing I want to talk about is that with conventions that have Artist Alleys and some of the bigger aspects, like maybe a Marvel or DC or Dark House or a Valiant, because they're making a comeback, is that I'm just using them as an example. We, the fans that buy from Artist Alley, can be in essence, the bees, the pollinators, to bring up the little guys to the big mainstream, hopefully. And somebody told me, it's like, how so? I said, well, we buy from the independent independent folks. We got to carry that. If we don't have a backpack or anything like that, we have to carry that stack of stuff from them all around the show.
Yeah.
And if we put that stuff down on a major booth like Marvel or DC or Dark Horse,
That's happened.
that they in essence might get discovered. It might not happen, but
Well, you'd be surprised how many of those guys actually walk around Artist Alley unknown and look at all these guys' art. Nailed him in the stomach. You were just the right height to get nailed. Like right by my elbow.
You just.
Every time. Every time.
every time.
He's like, my Tums. I gotta add him to his network here. Hold on.
And let me just do, as you were saying, about the people wandering around.
Oh, they wander around the show anyway. Here, they wander around the show anyway, and look at people's stuff. Like unbeknownst to a lot of the people that despite the fact that they're popular, a lot of people don't know their face. They just know their work.
Of course, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or even the name for that matter.
Yeah,
Sometimes.
and I've seen it happen. Guys, like when I was down there, guys wander around. Oh, hey, that's great. They'll look at your
Right.
stuff, and it's nice too because a lot of times. There was a guy sitting next to us, and a guy, hey, can I look at your portfolio? He gets the portfolio, and he goes through it, and he's like, wow, I got somebody you need to talk to. And boom, that guy, he may have a career mate. I have no idea whatever happened to him, but, I've seen that happen too,
And I've seen it at Wizard World one year. The kid might have been in around Caleb's age, and he was in line, Marvel line, to get, maybe a quick, if he's lucky, a quick sketch or just a simple autograph. And in his book was drawings that the kid did.
Yeah.
And guys were looking at, trying to find an open page, and they were asking him who did the sketches. And the kid just kind of a little bit scared, tapped his chest saying, me.
Yeah.
And he said, they recommend, listen, when you're done here, go around to the artist, thing,
Yeah.
and have it reviewed there, because
Right.
tell them we sent you,
Right.
not that you're some dimwit, trying to trying to do something. But he's like, that's a compliment right there.
Yeah, for sure. And that's conventions kind of used to be just all about that. They were very much a convention. Now it's more or less
It's to make money.
It's to make money.
It's a lot without the corporations and whatnot.
Yeah.
Wizard World, I think, is the one we need
Yeah.
to thank for that.
Right, no, for
They were
sure.
the ones that tried to turn it into a corporation. You know what I mean?
Like-
It was all about making money instead of having fun.
If you look at anything else that is a convention, they're not set up the same way comic book conventions are set up.
Hey.
They're very much like it's the industry talking to the industry, talking to people in the industry.
It would be, because we're gearing up to Baltimore, it'll be interesting to see how Baltimore has changed over the past 20 years. I think you and I have been part of that for a good many years. Has it changed? It has to change a little bit, but I think they're still pretty much 95% comic book related.
Yeah.
And it's fun to see what's there and what they bring out.
Yeah, I noticed they had a lot more media guests this year than they've had in the past. I could be wrong.
But it's not as bad as Wizard World.
No, but they're and it's not like anybody that's like. I'm not gonna say they're not huge, but they're not like, oh my god, this person's
Right.
Today,
And what I've said in the past about Wizard World, it's been my vocal has been more so like how my Articon views have been in the past. Is that when Wizard World Philly was a standard.
And Wizard World's kind of going bankrupt.
Right.
Yes.
And a lot of their shows are gone. I remember they tried to bring back the Pittsburgh show, and it bombed. It bombed the last couple of years. They tried to do
and
it.
You
and
can
the thing
thank for
is,
slagging sales for that too,
and-
in the comic book market.
and the thing is, with how it was for the while, Wizard World Chicago, Philly, LA, and Houston. And the second biggest con for them was Philly. It was their flagship East Coast show. Then all of a sudden, once LA or wherever it was, and Houston and Boston showed up, Philly, instead of being the flagship, it became the bastard child of the set.
Yeah.
And everything went downhill. While Chicago and LA were like,
and while the more independent cons like Steel City, Great Philly Comic Con, a lot of those have went up. You know, those have gone up in sales. Yeah, and they're well ran shows. I mean, just like the 4-state Harrisburg show did very well.
Yeah.
From what I understand. I mean, I unfortunately didn't make the first year, but I heard it was good. I heard it was good.
Yeah.
And I know the Hagerstown that they're getting ready to expand that as well. So I mean, so these mom and pop cons are starting to go up.
You had a hand in
tired of paying those prices.
And the thing
they're
is,
tired of paying $40 to get in, $60 to $80 for every autograph. They're tired of it. I mean, you know, who wouldn't be? I mean, with no average person can bring a family of 4 to these shows and have a good time.
And that's why
they've priced out the fandom.
They price the fans out. They price themselves out of business.
And the thing is, that's where me and Big Candy agree a lot of times with what you created with 4-state. And what we give you loads of credit for is that it brings the convention scene to the area the way maybe a minor league team baseball to or
that's a really good analogy.
a minor league I don't want to use garage aspect, but a small wrestling team circuit is able to bring that to a local area because not everybody can spend.
We have the House of Pain. We have WDWA,
EPPW,
and that's the aspect of because not anybody could spend $500 for cheap seats for a WWE event.
No.
So you have the local stuff.
You can sit ringside for $10,
$15.
$15. You can sit right next to the ring and shake and high five the wrestlers.
Right.
I mean, it's not quite what you see on WWE, but you know what? It's still good.
The product is still fun.
Kids still have a blast at these.
Trust me, if these guys weren't giving it their all, they wouldn't be there.
No.
So
they try a lot harder.
They almost work a lot harder than the other shows that you go see.
They have to.
Yeah, and that's
one of the other things that I saw, I just refused to read the article from sci-fi.com, is the aspect that it seemed like they were complaining and whining about that there are a lot of panels that are out there. I think the article might have been a whole mess of bullcrap, because what they were whining about is that there are many panels out there. It sounded like there are a lot of panels that just have full-out men about them. That's how it came off. It's that they were strictly male-based.
Oh, here we go.
But I want to say this. That's how it sounded. But when you attend something like a Baltimore or a even dare I say Awesome Con, or even an Autocon, there is a wide. You look at their panel list.
Yeah.
That is pretty much almost 24/7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is diversity there.
There is.
There is plenty to see for everybody.
If you choose to see things through the glasses of
hate.
And things like that. That's the way you're going to see the world.
Yeah, all these SJWs out there now.
Right.
It's just that it's like wait a minute. It's like not even the 4-state Comic Cons had stuff with like Langley Cat and all these. Female.
Yeah, we were very. I mean, shoot, the first couple of years we had all female. It was all female cosplay judges, all of them.
And that's the thing.
And they had panels too.
Panels, of course.
Normal thinking human beings like us. We go to these things and it doesn't even faze us.
Doesn't.
No.
Because we know that there's females, there's males, and everything in between.
I was gonna say, if it's good, who gives a shit?
Right.
If it's good, who cares?
It doesn't matter. I'm not there.
As long as you intrigue me and I'm interested in the topic, I'll sit there and listen to you. But
exactly.
It don't matter if you're male, female, alien. I don't give a shit.
Right.
And that's also what I think what Ethan Van Stiver, Zach, and a bunch of other people say. The normal folks that want to have fun at a convention, whether it be 4-state or a Wizard World or a feature or what have you, they're going to go. They're going to have fun.
Let me tell you something, and you know this, and you know this too. When we go to conventions, how much of this stuff does it ever come across your mind? Like when you're there, you're just there. You're having a blast. You're seeing all the different people.
Your friends.
You're talking. Man, the family aspect with those shows. Oh my God, dude.
Nobody cares. At least I don't.
I go and I go for the sights, the sounds, the hugs, the love.
Colors,
I go for the whole nine. And like, I never notice. You could be like, oh, this is terrible because I'd be like, well, I really
didn't even notice.
I didn't even notice that was going on until you pointed it out.
But one of the great aspects that I agree with, I forgot who the artist was. He's a mainstream artist. He says, instead of spending granted, if you want to see someone like Dale or Jeremy or like that, granted, grab an autograph from them. But what you're getting is like, support the artists that are there. They're the ones that drew your comics. They're the ones that help bring those characters to life. If you see Billy Tucci, for example, or Ken Hunt, buy a comic off them. Buy some of the stuff that they have on their tables.
Absolutely.
So that's always something.
Always, because I mean they're there for you. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there.
Now, to also add a unique input, Matt, for someone who's attending a convention for the first time, whether it be a small-time show or a larger event, what do you recommend a new person to the convention scene should bring with them? I mean, aside from money, aside from money getting into the show, aside from
that's going to be your main thing.
Yeah, I was going to say because again, just bring yourselves and just figure out what you want to do and have fun. There's no checklist or anything like that. I never thought so anyway. Right. If you're into movies, check out the film room. You into hearing them talk about the movies, go to the panels. You're into buying stuff, the dealer room. You want to meet your favorite celebrities, bring money for autographs and selfies. I think
as you go to more. You'll
right?
narrow it down. You'll be like, well, I really only want autographs, or I really only want
stuff, dealer stuff, dealer.
Right.
I really want. I collect, rare horror action figures.
Right. I'm Artist Alley guy. I like to go
get the art. I mean, me, I like the dealer room and autographs. And now since I've gotten into film, I've gotten into talking to filmmakers.
Yeah.
I mean, because again, it's, at horror cons we don't have Artist Alley. We have filmmaker.
Filmmaker Alley.
Yeah.
Oh, what a concept.
And
wow.
I mean,
trademark Matt Burns.
As I've told many people, that if you're going to a show, you don't really need funds to get in.
Yeah, I mean, you can enjoy the whole day.
It's like
spend a dime.
No. And
just like Creature Feature, you're including with your mishmash. You had a cosplay contest. You had a freak show. You had the Carnival sideshow.
Yeah.
You had Tim Capello from the Lost Boys that put on a live concert. I mean, all that stuff is included with your ticket, so you can have a day of fun and not spend a freaking dollar. And I'm sure people could. I'm sure people did.
I had a buddy of mine
if you want extreme cheapskate it, there's ways to do it.
You can walk into the room where the celebrities are doing autographs and just pan pictures around.
And the thing is, like I said, I spun.
That's his idea, not mine.
It was, I think, Baltimore Comic Con 2013, maybe. I sponsored my ride there to get in, and I told him, I told him, you don't have to spend a dime. You don't just. I got your ticket. I got your, meal. I got, the whole 9 yards. And he went there. He's like, I'm not really sure. This is a comic book show. And I'm like, trust me, you'll have a good time. And he went in.
Fair
enough. And I said, besides, I'm paying for your gas, your food, your parking, your ticket, the whole 9. Don't worry about it. He went in about maybe a half hour. Big Candy knows how I am in shows. I go in with him, I'm gone. And I found him maybe about an hour, 2 hours later, looking at me going, I should have brought money. Because I went, why? He said, I collect Matchbox cards. There was like 3 Matchbox card dealers in the dealer room. He's like, son of a bitch.
He's like, I would have never thought at a comic show I'd see this.
Right. That was his point.
You got to be prepared. You never know what. That's the other thing about these things. You never know what you're going to find.
And that was between.
First year, he took me my first year I ever went to a comic book convention. I didn't think I'd be standing for 4.5 hours online for Rob Liefeld.
And the thing is,
I met him in 30 minutes and I was not impressed.
And I should have had him draw a foot.
And the thing is, with that
I was not impressed with him.
He was cursing me.
He was all right.
He was cursing me the whole time because he was my base of operations for that show. I went with like $1,700 at that show. Using his
art.
I'd come back up to him with bags full of stuff, and he'd look like, what the hell? As soon as he looked back up, I'm gone.
Yeah,
buying something else.
Buying something and coming back, and he's like, what the? Where'd he go?
Yeah.
What the?
He's like, oh, Wolverine page art. What the fuck?
And the thing is, that was like the last thing I picked up.
Waiting for the guy who can't draw face.
And I got him, and that was like a $600
I like
piece.
how Deadpool 2 referenced that, dude. Yeah. Actually threw that. But it's not very cinematic. It's probably created by a guy who can't draw feet.
And the thing is,
Deadpool 2 actually referenced that.
I paid $300 for that piece of page art, and he had $600 on that son of a bitch.
That's true. And
So
you did good.
I still had fun that time. Still had fun. You gotta have fun. You have laughs. Matt has provided a lot of laughs with a lot of.
Shit, this one, the last time we went, he was still in a stroller, and I took him.
I remember that, yeah.
He was thieving stuff. I had to run back to a whole bunch of dealers and be like, no, here, sorry, he's little, here.
But it's wonderful in regards to how the independent stuff. That's a good question to ask Matt. What are your thoughts on, coming from the independent stuff, the convention scene? Do you see a lot of it more and more happening over the next couple of years, or the independent stuff
Seems
growing?
like it's not slowing down.
What you going? What you want?
All right,
There's our copyright strike right there.
I got it. I'll have it more on some of the stuff that we recorded early today. Thanks to Barry and the bookstore getting both their panels, wonderful panels. But the aspect of the music playing in the background might be... Folks, stay tuned for those panels, but they may or may not be on YouTube. Our zombie episode that we had in regards to Slacker and the Man is still up and has not had a copyright strike. Wow. So that's a fun thing. But
Cool. All right, well,
so
thanks you guys. You're having
if you want to,
like usual.
glad you have. That was Matt Burns. So, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about in regards to gearing up for Baltimore?
No, I'm just super excited, actually.
So am I.
See you, Matt.
See ya, Matt. That was Matt Burns, everyone. The Matt Burns, the creator of 4-State Comic Con and 4-State/Con and KingCon, amongst other things.
Star of Bigfoot! Exclamation point. And the upcoming documentary, Small Town Heroes.
So stay tuned for all that.
Right? But no, I'm just super excited because I haven't been to a comic book show proper, like big comic book show, in a couple of years, and I'm interested to see the difference from then to now. Because when was the last one we went to? It was
2016.
2016. That's about the time everything changed.
Right.
So, it'll be really interesting to see the landscape and what it's like. There's going to be a few people there that have caused problems for people lately. That I'm interested to see if they'll throw things. And apparently they have a bad rep.
And I'll be trying to get
You were talking about the VR thing.
and I'll be trying to get Tara Strong's autograph. I don't know if I'll have the funds for it now, but either way, I'll see what happens.
We will sell our bodies to the night and make sure that happens.
I don't rate that much. It's more like a nickel. you know how many people will get for $40?
If you get a lot of nickels,
A lot of nickels.
that's a lot of nickels, you'll be fine.
Fill up a stocking to get somebody. It's Baltimore.
That's a lot of depravity, though. Oh well. It's worth it.
Might need a butter sock. And folks, if you know that reference, my God, you're young. Okay.
But no, I don't know. There's not a lot of people there. I'm just gonna cruise Artist Alley, and with you, I'm more interested in just getting the footage of the. I got my little handy little rig. I'm gonna go down there.
I'll be doing probably the same thing.
Yeah, we'll just get grab a couple interviews. Our whole thing, and you're gonna
do my best too.
We're gonna be putting our best foot forward to make content for next year.
Right.
Next year, without going into a whole lot of stuff, things are gonna be a little bit different, and we're gonna try and get into a lot more of these, like the bigger shows, like Awesome Con, things of that nature, because we want to do a lot more content-wise, a lot more with what we talk about, have people on, different
Right.
things. We're trying to progress as a show. We've been doing this for like 4.5 years now.
Close to it. It's depending on which month you want to look at. If you're looking at our beta episodes, it's been since June 2015, so it's been 4 years, 4 months roughly.
Change, yeah.
And if not, if you look at the official start, 4 years, 3 months, it's still 4 years and change.
We're really looking towards getting a lot more listeners, a lot more people promoting the show a lot more, and things like that. We're not trying to make this our job. I mean, it'd be nice if that's how it ended up. That'd be great. But we're definitely trying to get bigger and have it almost like kind of fund itself so that it's not such a poor show. But because I mean, you put in this much work, you want to get something in return, even if it's just people listening. That would be the payoff. So
there are some local shows in my area, so to speak. If you want to use about a 30-minute drive time radius of our show, there is one other big time. I'm excluding those not so super dudes and victims and villains in this, but it's more so another particular podcast that is in our area. They are more well funded than me and a couple of the other independent folks that are in the area, so they get to do and have a lot more access because they're more funded. So therefore, it's kind of harder for us to do that. So in the upcoming months, some of the changes that you might see in regards to our show is in hopes that with what we have in our bank, we will bring much more credibility in regards to everything. And we're hoping that we will be the undercard going up against the heavyweights.
That's a good way to put it,
in regards to several things, we're going to be the people's champion in a way, and just hopefully, instead of bringing the diamond rings and the Lamborghinis and the limos, we'll be dropping the mic bombs.
That's right.
And bring the brass knuckles to the aspect. But we won't be causing. It's more using our cred in a way of doing things instead of actual and any violence in any way. What we do is more verbal.
You can hear the Ghostbusters.
We're recording this outside, and you can hear the Ghostbusters leaving right now. So,
isn't that cool, Caleb? That's neat.
So that is one of the perks of us trying something new right now in regards to recording outside an event like this in a little bit of a live setting. So, anything else?
I was gonna go into that Joker thing, but I don't think I want to. You haven't seen it yet, so I don't want to talk about it until you see it.
I don't really mind, but we could save it for after.
I mean, it's fresh, but at the same time, like, I don't know.
It's too much baggage behind it right now, and we could save it for when things are starting to ease off and our obligations, if you will, our convention obligations, because we have some stuff from KingCon, we have Baltimore next week, and everything else. Once those things are have eased off and everything else, and plus we have one other recording with Don, I think sometime second week or third week in November. I think it's November 16th is that particular recording. It's with another band, independent band. I think roughly in and around then we'll have everything kind of back to our normal things, and if weather holds, we'll probably have another daily grind episode for all of you, and then it will be a great time to get caught up on movie reviews and everything else banked. And
I probably need to just do a blog, honestly. I mean, I always had something to say about these damn movies I go see.
We do have a WordPress site.
Boom, I should do it there. Just do a little movie
if
blog.
I remember the password, I could give it to you guys, and
I'll do that.
I'll put it up there. If anything, once we get we do have a TikTok account now, folks. There's only one little video up on there right now.
Is it you dressed as an anime girl doing how do you say it? Ahigo Giha face?
Nope.
It's the one where they're like, ooh.
No, it's just
Ahigao.
ironically, our first little video is from a George Carlin clip.
Is it?
Yes.
Nice.
Pretty much, it's the whole aspect of I had an argument with my Rice Krispies. I distinctly heard "snap, crackle, fuck him," and it's me doing to that, and it's got like over 300 views and like 15, 20 likes on it already.
That's funny.
And that's one of the other things. I might have to talk to Dobbs again, and if anything, pass along a few episodes to him. Because again, he's been our fly on the wall. Even though we're still recording here, he's been hinting with me that Slacker and the Man might be making a comeback.
That'd be awesome.
And in process of looking for some voice clips that I had in bank from when the show was first being conceived in ways.
Daddy, like waiting
And everything else, I found some older zombie episodes from Slacker and the Man. I mean, real old. They make some of the one episode makes some of our older stuff look awesome. I mean, the audio is like almost cringe. But it was like I gotta let them know. It's like, oh, this is cringe. It's so awesome. I gotta put this out there. That's a special episode. I might have to get permission or just put it out there. You know, just put it out there for the sake of putting it out there. It's just cringe, like for the sake of Halloween Zombie episode number 2, episode 86 of Slacker and the Man, just for shits and giggles for you guys out there. But I think that's about it. Again, as I've been stating with some people, as soon as we know if Slacker and the Man is a go, we'll probably let you guys know. Because as we try to promote like Geek World Order's podcasts every now and again, and as I've told one of the person that's like, wait a minute, Slacker and the Man might be coming back, and it's like, yeah, it's been a fly on the wall. Right now it's just a rumor. If anything, we'll let you guys, everybody know. But we'll be the first, hey, we're listening to Slacker and the Man again. And knowing those guys have to do things regularly, but who knows? If anything like that, I know they'll be up for a kind of like a rivalry.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be something to discuss with them later on. So we're gonna kind of close out this episode so you guys could hear that episode from I think it was like 2008 maybe, if not 2008.
Yeah.
That old. But the thing is. There'll be a kind of a workaround beginning. A workaround beginning to that episode as a workaround ending to that episode.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to be, as much as we're trying right now, we don't want to be insta-claimed on YouTube. So either way, I'm the Reverend Godfather, and
I'm Big Candy.
stay tuned for us again on the old episode. Oh. Deja vu, folks. And folks, I'll save it for the end. So later, folks, and review of probably at the end of the show. I'll give you my thoughts of KingCon. So take care, folks. I am out. Stay tuned for that classic episode right after this.
The Long Coat Mafia will be right back.
The Electric Eye Collective. What's your geek?
I'm back.
Dear God, hey folks, welcome new listeners. This is the Electric Eye Collective podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, the Reverend Jim Esquire, and back from his vacation and sitting in the stinkiest calm chair ever is...
Hi fuckers, it's Big Candy.
So this is our second podcast, kind of covering everything that happened this weekend at the Baltimore Comic Con, and we were in essence told there were 31,000 people that showed up over the course of the weekend.
That was the projected estimate.
Yep.
So what the actual numbers are, we don't know, but it's probably easy to find out. We might have an answer by the next time we broadcast.
We're thinking that it's probably at least 30,000.
At least.
If not more.
Yeah. And that was for both days.
Both days.
Hell of a good show.
We gave out, like I
probably said I didn't get a chance to re-listen to our podcast that I posted up the other night. We brought 50 demo CDs to the con. All of them went like hotcakes.
How do hotcakes go?
Down pretty good.
Oh, yeah?
Especially with maple syrup.
They always say it goes like hotcakes. I'm like,
Yeah, what if you don't like hotcakes?
it's all of a sudden, it's like if you bring out a plate of hotcakes, you're getting swarmed. I don't know. I've never had that happen before. But.
Unfortunately, we also had out that a lot of people probably took, which was our official bootleg flyers.
Official.
One person said, "How can an official flyer be a bootleg flyer?" It's flyers that we give out. Whatever you guys wish to do with them, that's your business. Then, therefore, they become bootlegs.
Because we're funny.
Yeah.
That's why. We don't need a reason, goddammit.
But this one, we're going to kick off giving kind of like shout-outs to people that we met there. Real great guys, gals, everybody. Again, I'm going to give another shout-out to Chris Buick. I think I'm mutilating your last name. He's one of the editors at gamervision.com. He does a podcast with a bunch of folks called Something Cast. It's spelled SOMETINGCAST. It's found through an iTunes search. If they have a website like ours, you would have to email that to find that out. I'll give you his email. It's Chris at gamervision.com. His name is spelled CHRIS at GAMERVISION.com. Gamervision, from what he told me, after he was interviewing Snake Eyes and Blade, that Gamervision was kind of like the MySpace for gamers. I guess a lot of these types of sites are, not knocking them, a lot of these sites are popping up because of MySpace and Facebook. Another bunch of guys I want to shout out who, one of the artists there drew a great surfing illustration for me in my sketchbook. It's the guys at PLB Comics. You can check them out at not only do they have a MySpace page, which is myspace.com/PLB Comics. They have a website called plbcomics.com. There's a dash between PLB and comics. Check them out. They had a model there. Her name is Melanie Spencer. She was model for one of their comics, and she was very attractive in a skin-tight red outfit.
I want to see some unattractive models. I think if we set up next year, we should go out and find the ugliest girls we can find. And we'll have really unattractive models, just like to throw everybody off. It's like, hi, everybody else has attractive models. We thought we'd bring you over with unattractive models. What's up?
What's up? But, like I said, Melanie was dressed up in a revealing red dress. Pics on our MySpace. What is our MySpace address?
I don't know. It's not really our MySpace address for the show, though. It's for, remember that was...
That's our general, our catch-all anyway.
Oh, yeah, I gotta remodel it, though.
We'll post, I think it's EECF. MySpace. MySpace.com/EECF. We'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Also, a shout out to Age Comics. That's A.G.E. They put out Revolutionary Warfare type comics. It's like a bunch of short stories in one comic, and most of which are like 2 or 3 pages long. Decent artwork, decent story. It's their first time there. They're out of New York. A lot of it's good artwork for black and white.
Mm-hmm. Well, black and white tends to show off the artist's capabilities a little bit more than...
Yeah. Like you can see, there's some detail. A lot of it's pretty good. Full review to probably follow. Right now we're just giving out shout-outs. Especially to the Deandry Truesdale?
Dondre.
Dondre. I'm sorry, Dondre.
Dondre Truesdale. Oh
Dude,
my
oh my God.
Chronicles of a Bounty Hunter is off the fucking chain. If you can pick this up, I guess let's give out his email address.
Where is it? Where is it?
Where is it? Where is it? Did he give it to me in here? I think he wrote it in the book.
Oh, right here.
Oh, here we go. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
Shit. We're unprepared. We're unprepared.
We're unprepared. We should have got an email off of him.
I did, but I don't know where I put it. Anyway.
When we find it, we'll tell him we mentioned him on the podcast.
We'll put it in the podcast notes.
We'll put it in the podcast notes.
Anyway, Dondre Truesdale, Chronicles of a Bounty Hunter. It's like,
oh my God, I want this cover when he sells it.
It's basically the story of a guy who was a good cop. But life caught up with him, a drug problem caught up with him, and basically he's turned to taking the law into his own hands. And the first story in here gives you a really good example of what, the character is capable of, and his daughter, who is most likely going to follow into his footsteps.
He's one of the rare African American artists, writers out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, the cover is awesome. He said it was his first one. He's grown since then.
Drone?
He's drawn. Yeah, but he said he's grown as an artist since.
Okay, he said I thought you said drone as in drawn plural.
But it's one of my favorite covers. The artwork, I mean.
And the story is so well written. The person who wrote it, he did the story, but let's see, who did written by Ben Hooper. I'm guessing he did more or less like took the story and ran with it.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Like some of the lines in this, all right, just to give you an idea how he starts off. My name is Donovan Kincaid, ex-cop, ex-husband, ex-man. And he says, I live my life as a dead man. Every night, my finger tightens on the trigger, and I die a little more. And every night, at the end of a barrel, I am reborn. That's awesome. That's good writing. And it's a hell of a thing. This is self-published.
Self-published. He said he couldn't, there were some communication errors with the publisher. He couldn't get the second issue. It's in the pipe. Go to your local comic shop. Demand this. The more demands he gets, when he finally puts his issues through previews, they'll say, "We've heard of you guys. Give us stuff."
And when Dondre Truesdale is fucking
big,
and somebody picks him up, one of the big two picks him up, or big three,
picks
him up, you'll know.
Hopefully, he was psyched. Hopefully, we'll probably have him on this podcast.
Would love to.
Hell
of a nice guy.
Dondre, if you're listening, we'll send you a link to our podcast. We want you on our podcast. If you're able to make it out here, please come. Shout your wares. Say it from the mountain, whatever you want to call it. Again, I can't get enough of not only Dondre, but the guys at PLB. Great artwork with their stuff. Not to mention, I spoke to a guy at one of the artists. Let's see. I picked up a comic from them. They do a ninja named Stan. And the comic is basically a guy gets fired from a job he loves, and he gets. All his friends are kind of geeks. And he's like, let's go to this like geek type bar, and they all dress up as ninjas there. So he puts on his ninja mask, and he gets this idea to do become a ninja private eye. Mm-hmm. So the artwork again is kind of. I picked up like a few page comic for $1.
There you go.
For a dollar. Can't go wrong. Decent artwork. I mean, it's not like the big 3, big 4 artists, but for an independent, it's great. And he was telling me one thing. He said, only the best artists come to like Baltimore, but yeah, we're going to mention one artist that was not so great later. But
yeah,
he said
the thing with Wizard World Philly, they don't sell full tables like Baltimore. They sell half tables, which cost only $150. And he said what that does, it brings a lot of the sucky artists in. Yeah. And yes, Tom, we're looking at you, but we're going to be paying you a compliment later in the podcast. Trust me. But a place like Baltimore, you're going to have the good artist to bad artist is very low. You have a lot of great artists in Artist Alley, and maybe only like one or two sucky artists.
Right.
But in Philly, you're going to have a lot of sucky artists, only very few good artists.
Right.
And we met at also there. I'll put this over here for now.
Hey, you put things on the floor like I do.
This there. This.
Okay, while he's
there.
Adjusting,
Yeah.
I'd like to do a little shout out to the people that did Wolflorn, Mike Mann and Lee Chirolis. Guys, this little freebie that you handed out was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I looked at it. The artwork on it is great.
It's almost like, would you
not-
feel me on? It's kind of like Proof. It kind of
Yeah.
comes off like if you've read Proof. I don't
Not
know.
really, but
But-
I've seen the style before, but
Oh man, it's a story about like a person. He's like a giant. He's like the last of his kind, and he's kind of in the woods and stuff. And you know, he comes across a girl being attacked by a bear, and she screams at him equally as she screams at the bear, and he accidentally kills her, or it appears that he killed her. I'd like
appears
to.
to.
I would love to see more from this. This is they're bringing this from Mindsprocket. .com, modsprocket.com, the modern medium machine. So check that out. Wolflorn, a great little pic. It looks like this is basically my idea of a really good promotion. It just all it is stapled pages together. This is done on a Xerox machine.
the best line I've heard from one of the independent people was, buy my book. If you don't buy it, love it, read it. If you don't like it, buy more, burn it.
Buy more and burn them, yeah. But yeah, Wolflorn comes highly recommended from me.
Next guy we're going to bring up, next book kind of review / shout out to, is the guys that do Dire Destiny.
Oh my
God, the best Barker ever. He outdoes me when
his pitch.
Oh my God.
I bought the book not because the artwork was phenomenal or whatever.
The guy was from Bolivia, I think he said.
No, he was from where was he from? The Ukraine.
The Ukraine.
The artist is from the Ukraine. It's decent artwork for for starting out. I guess from the Ukraine. I guess it's
starting
as
out.
good as it's gonna get. But and the writing is pretty solid. He's from Virginia.
Yeah, the guy's name is Robert Kenzie.
Yeah.
Again, we're butchering names right now.
Yeah, left and right. But Dire Destiny.
The best barking ever.
Yeah. He sold that book to us on words alone.
Yeah, I'm like, I gotta buy this.
Yeah. So good graphic novel.
Good graphic novel.
Thick.
Nice and thick.
Good read. You can sit down.
I'll be giving that a thumb through. Another guy I met, they kind of did a write up on him either in Wizard or Fresh Ink. I forgot where. I think it was Wizard. The guy's name is Alex Robertson. He did a little hardcover graphic novel. I gotta read through it. He did a little sketch for me and signed it. He was a real nice guy. We were talking to him for a little while. He was first time at Baltimore. Real nice guy. Could have hung out with him and Mark McKenna all day long. Another guy I want to bring up, a bunch of guys. I have yet to read this, but the back picture is, especially the guy in the center. I'm passing the book, just like two of the guys are like, let's go on an adventure. The guy's like, oh God.
Yeah. It doesn't
Take
look
a look at the back little storyline. Flip over it. Open the cover and look at the last little picture. Other side. It's like the last story in the back.
Oh.
Look at the
Spider attack.
And the guy in the center is like, dear God.
He's like, yeah, attack,
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, those guys are really good. All the ones at Fortress Press.
Yeah.
They even said that we know we were out of place, at Monster Mania and Horror Find, but because they are in the horror medium, they figured they should be there, which I really applaud them for doing that. They're kind of crossing over the genres, kind of like we like to do. Like, it's not just, geekdom doesn't just exist in comic books, it also exists in horror movies and this, that, and the other. So, big ups to the guys over at
Yeah,
Fortress.
I gotta read this. I was told it was very hysterical.
Yeah. I got their magazine, wherever the hell it is. But I got their magazine, I picked that up too.
We picked up page art from them one year.
Yeah,
Real
still somewhere.
And again, another shout out to the guys at Sire. Picked up their graphic novel. I guess it was either Daniel or Lisa that was there. One of them. He did a great piece of my sketchbook. He signed the cover. He said they do small story arcs because it's instead of doing one large one, it's easier to sell a 3-issue set than another story arc that starts at number 4.
Yeah.
So another nice guy. He was pimping his wares at his,
Oh, big ups to Rich Kozlowski, who did 3 Geeks, which was also
exclusive.
3 Finger Prints is what he works with. This book it taps into the geek soul.
Yeah, I have to read it.
That and the other one that I got for you.
Yeah, the one that Big Candy picked up me. It's entitled "How to Pick Up Girls If You're a Comic Book Geek."
And it is fantastic.
I gotta read this.
That book
and
is
it's
so
signed.
funny. That book is like you basically read through it, and it's like teaching this kid who knows nothing about like what it's entailed. Like don't be too aggressive. Don't be you can't approach people like this, that, and the other. It's really cool. It's funny, and he gets it. If anybody gets it, he gets it. Another one we picked up, which came with a free shirt, by the way.
Really?
Was Turtle vs. Bunny by Joe Dunn, who signed it. Go Turtle. The book is basically The Rabbit and the Hare retold with rocket launchers. Or the rabbit and the hare. The hare and the tortoise. I'm retarded. But
Rabbit and the hare.
Yeah,
two rabbits running against
each other. It's not very interesting. No, but it's the tortoise and the hare retold, but with rocket launchers and machetes and machine guns and shotgun nets and all kinds of fun stuff. He does a lot of funny stuff with this book. Real, like, I don't know what the art style would be, like cartoony, but at the same time, almost like Johnny the Homicidal Maniac at times. Yeah. Very, very cool.
That's where the
book.
cartoony style of artistry comes into play, and it's done very well.
Absolutely.
And before we continue, we got enough swag that what we're going to be doing, because we got a ton and a half of pins and all that. We are going to probably do like some sort of contest or something for you, the listeners, because we might be getting more in, like a little pin and ring pack or stuff like that. We'll be giving stuff to you.
I'm thinking, and I probably have enough stuff to do this, that we could give out a Stigmata bag.
We have one Stigmata bag from Dark Horse.
I have 2.
So we have 3.
Okay, we have 3, but I could give out a Stigmata bag. And I could pack it with lots of posters and
pins and
like you're talking about a lot of stuff. An exclusive Max Payne poster. Anybody? Yeah. But back to the reviews. Back to the shout outs and reviews. Another book. Fine piece of writing. Limited to 100.
I didn't get a chance to see him.
You didn't get that? Well, he always comes and he dresses up, which I think is fantastic.
I saw him, but I didn't get to visit the booth. Nothing against the guy.
Oh, I know. Was the book No One? No One by, if I can find his damn name in here. I might have to be like, hey man, put your damn name in your book. Hold on. You know, he didn't put it in the beginning of the book.
Wow.
It's kind of strange. It's like, you don't want anybody to know who you are. it's one downside to the indie scene is a lot of times they're so into their book and they're so into putting it out that they kind of forget to tell everybody who the hell they are. Well, anyway, the book No One, that's No One, basically about
Here's another issue. Maybe
he's like a killer, but he's like kind of he avenges things or whatever, kind of like a Punisher type, even down to the moniker. Like he's got like a skull on his face.
I think his name is David Finch.
No, David Finch is the guy who did the sketch in the second book.
Sorry.
Yeah, David Finch is kind of like an established writer. So, to the writer of No One, next time put your name in the book and I'll give you more of a shout out.
Yeah. Kind of going through your sketch of a second issue or...
Yeah. Moving on.
Moving on.
Coming from... That's just funny. Alright, another great piece of artwork, or book, I should say, that we picked up, was a book called The Convergence. Story and art by Josh Hill and Mark Holmes. Cover art by Mark Holmes. Mark Holmes is a up and coming artist. He's really fantastic. Artwork a lot like, I don't know who you'd say this is like. It's almost like a painted style. What'd you say?
Yeah, kind of. I wouldn't say an Alex Rock style. It's more of maybe a Greg Horn style.
Greg Horn, yeah, almost like painted and very...
Or drawn or digital drawn or something like that.
He just does some interesting things with art. He's got great panel work. It just seems like a very ethereal book, just kind of out there.
And the thing is, like, the guy from Sire, he's now, like, a colorist for Image.
Yeah. This guy, Mark Holmes, it looks like one day he's going to be sitting at, a booth by himself signing autographs, and he's going to be pretty big one day. This is out on Enigma Works. It's self-published. If you can pick it up, The Convergence. Another fantastic piece of independent writing and art. Another thing, here we got... apparently people have heard of this, like, everywhere. I haven't heard of it until I got here. It was Headlocked. It's basically... a book
about wrestling.
Wrestling, yeah, it's wrestling. I think the guy was a theater trained actor who basically got into wrestling to show off something, and it's kind of, they said it kind of works out like a drama. I need to read it still, but I was really into the story, what he was telling me and everything, and the fact that they sell in the inside cover page wrestling masks. It's pretty awesome. But apparently this artist is Randy Valente. I'm probably butchering his name too. And Michael Kingston was the writer on this. This is out on... What is this? AAM Marcosa Books. So Marcosa Enterprises and Visionary Comics Studio. So just check them out. You can get... I'll put that in the show notes. So you can check that out. All of this stuff's going to be in the show notes today. So if you need to find out any names or anything like that, because we're retarded, you can go ahead and just probably link to all these things. We'll put up links and everything.
We'll put up links in the show notes.
Lead Slinger Studios put out another Revelations. They said they're putting out about one a year by D. Jason Meadows and Sean D. Wagner. Another strange book by them with awesome artwork. Very nice. Leslie Nielsen looking priest. I just kind of opened it up, looked in there. I got that autographed by those guys. They also are responsible for the Nerdcast. If you listen to that, pretty cool. A little.
I don't listen to Nerdcast.
I don't care for it. Fuck a bunch of Nerdcast. You got an apology in order, by the way, there, bub.
I have to kind of apologize. In the last podcast I did with Mad Eye Markey, I got to apologize to the guys at Suckcast. I didn't hear your podcast yet. Big Candy has.
Funny.
I wasn't really knocking your podcast. Just, it seemed like an odd fluke that when we discovered your demo CD, it kind of looked, I wouldn't say it kind of looked like ours, but the similarity was like, it seemed like a rush job. We're not knocking your podcast whatsoever. I'm sure you guys are a very bunch of nice guys.
Very funny guy.
So
I was glad to hear it though. I mean, I was glad somebody else put something out there like that.
Yeah.
It is a good idea. I'm glad we thought of it. But we put out a demo, for everybody to pick up. It was limited to 50 or something like that. We didn't put numbers on limited to 50. Like anybody's gonna collect our dumb shit. But we did labels, CD labels, packaging, and the whole 9 yards. Which requires some forethought,
Yeah.
but could be done in an afternoon. If they did that, well, God bless them. Fine,
Yeah.
Whatever. That's cool. They do have a really good podcast though. Like they're a bunch
Like I said,
funny.
I didn't mean to knock your podcast. Just that it was like the next day, late in the afternoon, we're about to leave. Like picking up their CD, it's like this kind of looks like ours.
Yeah. But big ups to them for having a funny podcast. www.suckcast.com. Funny dudes. They'll tell you about in their podcast. What was the thing I was laughing the most about? It was about the worst Transformers ever. And it would be if they made what is it?
A Segway.
A Segway into a Transformer. It's just it had me rolling. Another book I picked up, which. The artwork is, what can I say? It's like as indie can get. It's called The Fierce Operations. I think this is by Heritage Press or whatever. It's actually local to Baltimore.
We'll try to get the guys down here to do, like some of these people down here to promote their shit. Not that it's shit, but...
No, he does... He does, some pretty good work. It's average, but at the same rate, I see a lot of potential in it. Yeah. I like the fact that he was very enthusiastic with what he was doing.
I'm gonna have to say we're gonna probably post another Baltimore review after this.
Well, if you'd shut up, I could finish.
Okay. We got only like a minute left.
Dude, we got 33 minutes on the podcast. We're good. I can fit all this in. But anyway, big ups to Taryn Eads, Douglas G. Smith, and Splash for doing the book, The Fierce Operations. Everybody check that one out. And then the last two I have to review, Mr. Assface over here rushing me, were the continuations of the book Gloom. Which I actually liked Gloom when I picked it up last year. The artwork is fucking solid. You can see that. I would love to get some pages from this guy. Created and penciled by David Newbold. Story, script, and letters by Richard A. Nelson. This is, again, self-published. NewboldCreations.com. Check him out. Very awesome book. Very good series. I'd like to see a lot more from him. Somebody's going to pick him up one day. And Chris, where's the email address?
Our email address is eecf25428 at Comcast.net. As always, we are iTunes searchable, and our website address is, for those who don't know...
Fucked if I know.
Shows you how prepared we are. We are at something@lisbon.com.
So, on our next podcast, we're going to do our top 10s of the show. Of Baltimore. A little bit more information on some artwork and some other stuff. And that's not the website address. That's the... Oh, you're talking about... Well, if they're listening, they already know that.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to bust on something called the Pharaoh's Charm.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. And which is what I want to bring up. Is the worst in independent.
Yeah.
There was... Well, let's talk about it next time.
Yep.
Until then,
we are... Exhausted.
Okay. All right, well, toodles.
It's a Lonco Mafia podcast!
Hello, folks. Welcome back. And yes, for all of you who've been listening to the show since the beginning, that was Zombie Bunny. No, she has not returned. That it's just something that I've had in the show's bank to use in situations just like this. That's right. I do have a lot of stuff that I keep for to use for intros, outros, and other fun stuff and to use. So if you wish to join in any of the discussion in regards to what was said in the ramp-up part with Matt Burns or in the old Electric Eye episode, you could send an email to longcoatmafia@gmail.com. And on that note, please, before I continue, any stuff or emails or anything like that in regards to the Electric Eye are defunct, which means they no longer work, so forth and so on. So, again, if you wish to continue the conversation with questions, comments, or what have you that is said in with Matt Burns or in the Electric Eye episode, please do so by sending an email to longcoatmafia@gmail.com or sending us a message through Facebook, and I'll get to it when I can. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/The Longcoat Mafia Podcast. You can also, while there, you can not only send us a message, you can leave us a comment on the show's post, whether it be the pinned post in regards to this week's episode, or what have you. I will get to a message probably quicker than a comment, but either way, you can do so. Email is quicker, easier, and more direct, but still. Or you could send us a DM through Twitter. Our Twitter handle is Longcoat Mafia, as well as Longcoat Mafia is also our handle on Instagram. So please, while on Facebook, please hit that like button. While on Instagram and Twitter, please click that follow button, so that way you can try to stay up to date and join in the conversation that we may be having on any one of those platforms. And plus, while you're on Instagram, if that's your preferred social media of choice, you get to see where we've been at, some of the memes that we tend to post up, and so forth and so on. What else? We do have a YouTube channel that you could easily subscribe to. You get to also not only see walkthroughs and coverage of events that we go to, like KingCon or Baltimore Comic Con that we will be going to, or past events like 4-state Comic Con events, or so forth and so on. You can go there and see these walkthroughs that we've done, or so forth and so on. Just search up Longcoat Mafia Podcast. We should be within the top few that are there as channel-wise. Links to any and all of our social media will be in the show description for the most part, so you're welcome to follow the links through there. We do have a TikTok, brand new folks. We do have a TikTok account. I don't have the links in front of me right now, but they will be in the show notes. I think it might be, our TikTok account is LCM Podcasts. We're using the show initials for right now. We do only have one video clip up on that, so either way, the link will be in the description down below, or at least the where to find us will be in the show description. What else? We do have, at least for the time being, we're not streaming right now on either Mixer or Twitch, but hopefully soon we will soon be doing so. If not, start of the new year, there's reasons for it, which we'll get to hopefully soon. But our Twitcher, our Twitch channel is twitch.tv / Longcoat Mafia PD. Our Mixer.com channel is mixer.com / LCMP. Please note before I continue in regards to our YouTube channel, not only do we ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, we ask you to not only subscribe to it and like our Facebook page, because sometimes we put up exclusive videos to either YouTube or Facebook. It all depends on who wants to be picky, Facebook or YouTube. If YouTube wants to be finicky about what we post up, it becomes a Facebook exclusive. If YouTube wants to be finicky about what we post up, it becomes a Facebook, I should say a YouTube exclusive. If it's a podcast episode, it becomes a podcast exclusive. That means you can only listen to it through Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Spotify, so forth and so on, which I'll get to in a moment. But so I do, if you want to watch our videos, please do so by going to either Facebook and or Twitter. I do recommend both. I do recommend subscribing to both. And if you like what you see, hit that reaction button or that like button down below the video. It does help us, and sharing, as well as sharing our posts in regards to the videos and so forth and so on. It does help us. We want to grow, and you can help us by doing just that, by sharing our podcasts, our links to our podcast, and everything else. As per finding our podcast, if you rather listen to us on the go instead of listening to us through YouTube, if you listen to us on a desktop or laptop computer, you're able to do so by subscribing to us on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. I think that's what Apple's calling iTunes on the Mac iOS. Spotify, Stitcher Radio, and I think that's it. iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, and oh yes, our main website, which is thelongcoatmafia.podbean.com. At our website, which is what I just mentioned. Again, our website is thelongcoatmafia.podbean.com. While you're there, you can listen to any and all our episodes dating back to the beginning. That's right. If you want to hear the classic episodes that we broadcast so many years ago with Zombie Bunny, if you never heard those episodes before, you can do so on our main website by going all the way back there and listening to those episodes, as cringeworthy as they may be sound-wise. And while there, not only can you stream these on through the website on your desktop or your laptop, you can download them and listen to them on any player you so see fit. If you want to listen to them through iTunes, you can do that, or whatever OS you're using, whether it be Windows, you can listen to it through Windows Media Player, or whatever independent MP3 player on your desktop or laptop that you so wish. As for listening to our episodes on the go, you're able to do so through Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, the Podbean app, or where you normally get your podcasts. And I recommend using the Podbean app if you want. That way you're able to, again, go all the way back to the beginning if you so wish. Let's see, what else? That should be it about now. It might be a bit to dish out a lot of the Baltimore Comic Con recordings that we have. Good chance we'll be getting a lot of photos, video and audio. So stay tuned to our Facebook, our Instagram, our YouTube channel for this content. So stay tuned. And again, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. It's a little bit longer than what I've been trying to dish out over the past few weeks, but still, it's a wonderful. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you, if you want to join in, I do welcome your comments and your questions and everything else. And please stay tuned. While at KingCon, I managed to get 2 panels. I have yet to go through them and see what exactly, how they sound in a way. And folks, yes, I said that correctly, because the reason why I say that is because I can see how episodes sound through the program that we use, which is Audacity. So I have to see how they sound and see if they need adjustment. One might have to be a little bit raw because of how things were at the show, and I'll explain through all the intros and everything else. So I wish all of you to take care. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and please stay tuned to where you get our episodes for the Baltimore stuff, the KingCon stuff, and everything else. So either way, I'll see all of you next week, and I can't wait to bring you the content that we have gotten from all these events. So take care. I'm out. Let's go.
You've been listening to the Longcoat Mafia Podcast, the internet's most hated and mafia-themed geek podcast.